Joining us now, Lester Munson, advisory board member for the National Security Institute, also principal and managing director of international practice at BGR Government Affairs. Good morning. Welcome to you. What do you like about this deal being laid forth, and what concerns you the most about what's being potentially agreed upon?
Well, I think it's a fascinating situation. The memorandum of understanding, which to my knowledge has still not been officially released by the U.S. government, is actually a fairly well-known document. But what we're seeing from President Trump and from the Iranians are kind of different versions of that agreement. So it seems to be a little bit of a movable feast, kind of a eye of the beholder situation. President Trump, if you listen to what he's been saying about the deal, it actually sounds pretty good. We're not going to turn over any resources to Iran if they're violating any of the terms of the deal. The Strait of Hormuz will be open. There will be inspections of Iran's nuclear weapons program, and they will be freezing all of their nuclear activity. That sounds pretty good, but that's not exactly what's written down in the MOU. There's some implication here that there are kind of other agreements adjacent to that may be more verbal or more of a gentleman's type agreement. So I think it's kind of fascinating to watch how both sides are describing this deal. And it's obviously, as we go like almost minute by minute here to see how it's being implemented, are ships going through the Strait of Hormuz? Will IAEA inspectors be able to go into Iran? Right now, it looks like they will be able to, despite what the Iranians are saying, at least to their people. It's very compelling television. It's kind of fascinating to watch this play out in real time. And so I think like the big plus here is it's very interesting what's happening. The downside is I think there's just not a lot of certainty about what the next steps are going to be.
It definitely feels fragile. You know, there has always been, at least for the last 40 years, a concern about Iran's nuclear capabilities and their ambitions. But what this has laid bare is their ability to put a stronghold on the Strait of Hormuz. How much more vulnerable is that waterway in terms of impacting the global economy now than it was 4 months ago?
Well, interestingly, Marni, it's probably waning in terms of how impactful it's going to be on the world economy. Now, that's going to play out probably over several years, but a lot of the energy producers in the region are already looking at alternatives to getting resources out of the Persian Gulf. They can either do it by pipeline or ship it in other ways. There are other alternatives. So the market itself, you know, the actual economic forces driving a lot of this activity are already changing the reality, you know, on the ground and on the water for the Strait of Hormuz. But that's going to take a while to play out. So I think in a way, yes, Iran does clearly have a card to play here, but that card is only going to become less valuable over time. So they're going to be pushing to get as much as they can out of this negotiation, of course, because in a couple of years, it's going to be a very different scenario.
Right, as the world adapts. Finally, though, I wanted to ask you about Israel. As we look at the exchange of fire with Israel and Lebanon, how much trust has been lost? Netanyahu was frustrated with this deal in terms of the U.S. and Israel's relationship.
Yeah, and you know, the U.S. and Israel are very strong allies in many ways, but they are not. Our interests do not perfectly align. In this case, the U.S. is looking for a slightly different approach to what's going on in Lebanon than what Israel wants. Again, there's a ton of cooperation between Prime Minister Netanyahu's cabinet and President Trump's inner core. So I really don't have any doubt that we're going to continue to have a very strong relationship. Some of the disagreements have been exposed. Israel may have to swallow a tough pill here on the Lebanon question. President Trump is very interested in getting this ceasefire implemented as quickly as possible. So again, this will be another issue to follow closely. But at the end of the day, I think the U.S. and Israel remain very strongly allied, and I'm not worried about it.
Lester Munson, thank you for your time and for your insight.
Thanks, Marni.